He stood alone in the middle of his land, staring at the soil beneath his feet. The same land he had worked on for years, the same land that had given him nothing but disappointment. The sun was setting, but he didn't move. There was nowhere else to go. For most people, this land looked ordinary. Dry soil, uneven ground, nothing special. But for him, it was everything he had left. Years earlier, when his father passed away, this land became his responsibility. It wasn't large, it wasn't fertile, but it carried a promise, the promise of survival. At least, that's what he believed. Every morning before the village woke up, he was already there, hands in the soil, sweat on his face, hope in his chest. The first year failed. The crops didn't grow as expected. The second year was worse. Too little rain, too much heat. By the third year, people stopped asking how the farm was doing. They already knew. Whispers followed him wherever he went. Some said he wasn't smart enough. Others said he was cursed with bad luck. He pretended not to hear, but every word stayed with him. Debt slowly replaced hope. Loans replaced savings, and disappointment replaced pride. At night, sleep didn't come easily. His mind replayed the same questions again and again. Why wasn't his effort enough? Why did others succeed while he struggled? The land didn't answer. Season after season, failure became familiar. So familiar that it stopped hurting sharply and began hurting quietly. People around him moved on. Some left farming, some found easier work. He stayed, not because he was brave, but because he had no other choice. One year the weather turned against him completely. A sudden storm destroyed everything he had planted. Not some of it, all of it. By the next morning, the field was silent, flattened, ruined. He didn't cry, he didn't shout. He just sat there, staring at what remained. That night, the weight of everything pressed down on him. The years, the debt, the shame. For the first time, he allowed himself to think something dangerous. What if he was wrong all along? Not unlucky, not cursed, just wrong. That thought stayed with him. In the days that followed, something changed. Not outside, inside. He began paying attention, not just working, observing. He noticed how water moved across the land, where it stayed, where it disappeared. He watched how different areas of soil reacted differently to the same seeds, how some crops struggled while others survived longer. He listened more than he spoke. While others repeated the same methods year after year, he questioned them, not loudly, quietly. The next planting season came. He didn't do everything the same this time. The changes were small, almost invisible. He didn't expect success. He just hoped for less failure. The harvest came. It wasn't impressive. No one congratulated him. No one noticed. But for the first time in years, he didn't lose everything. That mattered more than anyone realized. The following year, he adjusted again. Still careful, still patient. The results improved slightly. Enough to breathe. Enough to continue. Years passed this way, quietly, without celebration. Slowly, the land responded. Not dramatically, not suddenly. Gradually, his debts began to shrink. His confidence returned, one small step at a time. People noticed something different. Not success, stability. They didn't laugh anymore. They didn't praise either. They watched. One year, the harvest exceeded expectations, not because of luck, but because consistency had finally paid its price. He expanded slowly, carefully. The land that once symbolized failure now carried something else. Proof. Proof that survival itself can become a turning point. When people asked him how it happened, He didn't give long explanations. He didn't tell stories of brilliance or courage. He just smiled and returned to his work, because he knew the truth. Nothing changed overnight. Nothing came easily. It took years of standing in the same place, being doubted, ignored, underestimated. It took patience most people don't have. And one evening, standing in the same field where he once felt defeated, he looked around and realized something quietly powerful. The land had never betrayed him. It had been waiting,